In my life, I try and avoid things that are stupid and evil and make me look bad in comparison with somebody else. And Bitcoin does all three.
Although there are many arguments against digital currency, Bitcoin users have their own justifications. Charlie Munger, the 98-year-old billionaire and Warren Buffett's business partner, provided a sobering analysis. I don't enjoy handing over your extra billions of dollars to someone who just made up a brand new financial product out of thin air. Nor do I like a currency that's so handy to kidnappers, extortionists, and other bad guys. I guess I should say in a humble way that the whole darn trend is awful and bad for civilization. And there's a lot more to it. Today, let's look at why this 98-year-old billionaire destroys Bitcoin. Being a youngster during the Great Depression and being close to 50 when the US abandoned the gold standard, it is understandable that he is not overly enthusiastic about digital currency, and maybe there is a lot more than just a generational misunderstanding. Bitcoin is an uncertain asset. The way Bitcoin was made in the beginning limited how many could ever be made. The fixed supply affects how it is used or not used by people. Because there are only so many coins, it has become a speculative investment. People who don't hang on, or in Bitcoin language, hodl, are mocked. People who aren't selling their Bitcoin investments are referred to as having diamond hands in this context. Not only are those people not selling, but they are also not using it as money. Instead, they're preparing to recoup their investment by selling it to another party in the future for a higher price. That embodies speculation in its purest form. Isn't that the main reason people own stocks? Some may wonder. Both yes and no is the answer. Although shares are a claim on actual cash flows and dividends, stock owners may want to sell shares at a later time at a greater price. Like real estate, its value is determined by the capacity of the asset to generate rental income. Bitcoin lacks this ability to produce money. Compared to the current system, it is less secure. Bitcoin supporters praise its security as one of its strengths. A criminal cannot access funds held in Bitcoin without the cryptographic key. The concept of inverting a situation, or considering it from both the front and the rear, is one of Munger's favorite mental models. In this case, the opposite is also true if all of your Bitcoins are protected by a single digital key. One digital key can be used to steal or lose all of your Bitcoin. Mt. Gox, a pioneering Bitcoin exchange, lost 650,000 Bitcoin in 2013 following a hack. In 2014, it filed for bankruptcy, causing thousands more coins to be frozen. People have lost hundreds of millions of dollars because they lost their digital keys, or forgot their passwords and threw away the hard drive that held them. There isn't a single password in traditional banking that grants users access to all of their money. Furthermore, two-factor authentication and artificial intelligence make password theft increasingly difficult. Despite being a single point of access, the digital key is also a single point of failure. Designers in every medium, including digital and physical, are instructed to stay away from doing it. People have said that making Bitcoin would have been the easiest way to make sure that people would destroy the earth. It's a big claim, but it's not that unbelievable when you think about how much energy mining uses, how slowly the rate of creation is increasing, and how much people enjoy guessing. Already, Bitcoin mining uses as much energy annually as many countries. Environmental groups say that Bitcoin may cause a 2-degree rise in temperatures around the world by the year 2050. Even if it's an exaggeration, the amount of energy needed to run a speculative economy raises questions about how future government rules might be carried out. Cryptocurrency has already been illegal in a number of countries, including Turkey, because of the lack of a centralized authority. Doesn't take that much imagination to picture that as natural disaster frequency and severity continues to climb, more individuals will become involved in the environmental cause. A slower rate of creation will only result in more energy being consumed. No more than 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. The pace of creation will be cut in half for every 210,000 Bitcoins mined, according to the coders. This halving operation was last carried out in May 2020. It has happened previously about every 4 years. Following the halving last year, only 6.25 Bitcoins were created for each block. Miners used to get 50 Bitcoins for each block. That time restriction is one of the things that persuades investors that the value of the virtual currency will increase over time. So far, they have been right. People amassing fortunes through Bitcoin investments resemble previous historical bubbles, whether it was tulips in the 1630s, gold in the 1840s, internet stocks at the turn of the century, or real estate in the 2000s. Many just couldn't wait to witness others become wealthy without taking part. Conjecture is fueled by envy and greed, and some people will do anything to get their hands on the riches. There are already Bitcoin mining businesses everywhere there is cheap electricity. One has even been opened in Siberia. Consider what could occur if the price was 10 or 20 times higher. Of all, for every old person who believes that Bitcoin is bad for civilization, there are undoubtedly hundreds of thousands of young, naive investors expecting it to reach the moon. Munger's skepticism is based on a century of life experience. Ironically, a lot of Bitcoin users concur with this viewpoint. Since 2007, they have seen the money supply rise by more than 100% and seen Wall Street protected by the Federal Reserve amid a financial crisis. That is, before the health crisis. The value of assets has steadily gone up, which may inspire this generation to build their own wealth. Many people purchase Bitcoin not because they understand the technology, but because they want to finance the American dream that they were raised to aspire to. After all, if you keep hearing about people getting rich in ways that you can also do, it would seem silly not to try it yourself. That isn't as true for someone who has experienced the agony of financial loss. To get money, people will do anything it takes. Nobody, however, is insane. In a recent interview, Charlie Munger once again slammed cryptocurrency. He advised people to stay away from digital money and compared it to a dirty public laboratory when describing the Bitcoin industry. Furthermore, he asserted that they were pointless. Munger thinks it's a waste of money to invest in cryptocurrencies. The author stated, "I think buying or dealing in this material is practically insane." The 98-year-old billionaire vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway claimed that just because something is hard to create in large quantities or unique, it doesn't mean that it is a good reason to buy it. He went on to say that stocks are a much better way to put your money to work because they are pieces of real businesses that give you the right to their profits. Munger also made negative remarks about the people who produce coins and the marketplaces where they are traded. He added that he wouldn't purchase cryptocurrency since they undermine the existing monetary system. He declared that he believes anyone who sells these products is either mad or evil. "I have no desire to undermine the national currencies of the globe." During the AFR interview, the business partner of Warren Buffett, who has called cryptocurrencies a disease and a tool for criminals in the past, continued to say bad things about them. "I merely avoid it like it's a dirty open sewer," he continued. "I simply disregard it entirely, and I suggest that everyone else do the same." The value of Bitcoin, Ether, and other well-known coins has dropped by more than 70% since its peak in November. Because of this, there has been a wave of layoffs, record withdrawals, and even bankruptcy in the cryptocurrency industry. The use of fossil fuels, stock market swings, and price increases are all factors to consider. Munger offered his thoughts on a variety of other market-related concerns. He claimed that he largely ignores macroeconomic trends and pays little attention to expert predictions, focusing instead on making the best investments with the money that Berkshire and himself have to work with. "All these people blathering on television," he claimed, "don't think the way I do." Inflation, the multi-billionaire investor continued, was an issue he constantly encountered, but it would eventually render all of the world's currencies useless. "That really is my pessimistic perspective." Munger continued by stating that the recent stock price decrease was not unprecedented. On the other hand, he thinks that increasing interest rates will almost surely have a big effect on stock prices and valuations. Do you agree with Charlie Munger?